Good morning, Geeks and Gamers. Welcome in to another episode of The Acolyte is Bullshit, because that's pretty much all we're talking about here on this channel, because what else is there to talk about in the entertainment world? And I made videos about it, Ryan, so you can't yell at me. You can't yell at me today. How you doing?
Finally made videos. I think it's because you see even Jay was getting like good views from something. You're like, well, shit, I got to hop on top of that.
When Jay is getting good views, anybody can get good views. Yeah. That's my attitude on it. I
feel like that was your motivation. You saw Drunk 3PO getting, 50, 60,000 views, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I got to make some fucking videos on the Acolyte.
Hey man, it's been a good run the last few days. Views are good everywhere. Had 6,000 people watching just on YouTube on Cobra Cast yesterday. So that was pretty cool.
I see the chat saying no countdown. There was. YouTube is just being the Acolyte. It's just being gay as fuck. So it took a while for it to sync up. But there was a countdown. So don't fucking worry about it.
I don't even know if it's YouTube. It might have been StreamYard. Like, so when I hit the countdown, there was like a 3 or 4 second delay before I even saw the countdown. Usually it's pretty instant. But it was a pretty big delay. But yeah, there was a countdown.
What fucking what website are you using? Chrome?
I'm using Chrome. I'm using Chrome today because Firefox doesn't let me share audio when I share my screen. Firefox works perfect for everything except when I share my fucking screen. I can't use audio.
It's funny because the reason you switched to Firefox is because Chrome crashes when you share your screen.
I know. So what I did yesterday is I shared my screen and I just didn't unshare my screen yesterday, and I just put it backstage. And the reason was because I can't share audio through Firefox. But Firefox works so much better than Chrome in every aspect for me, except I can't share audio when I share my screen. I guess
it works.
I don't know how. Maybe I'm going to go with, I don't know what another one, maybe Brave. I maybe try Brave, but I don't know if you can share audio with Brave browser.
I don't know. When I first started YouTube and streaming, I was using Brave, but I had issues with it with StreamYard. So I just switched and never looked back. I haven't switched back to see if they fixed some of those, but yeah. But everybody's always fucking screaming Brave, Brave, Brave. That's why I started. I started with Brave.
Yeah.
I had to switch.
But
I really don't have any issues with Chrome ever.
Yeah, Chrome is awful for me.
Even when I have a million fucking tabs, even when I'm like, when probably my CPU is like maxed out, like insane, and I've got 20 different windows with 10 different tabs on each of them, I usually don't have a problem.
Yeah, like even when I'm live streaming and like I'll have a Creator Studio opened up for my super chats and everything like that, Chrome just runs so damn slow after the stream has been going for like an hour. Chrome is awful. And it's only on StreamYards. When I run through OBS and I'm just capturing and all of that, I have no issue whatsoever. So I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't really matter. Because you know what? No matter how bad Chrome is, it's nowhere near as bad as the Acolyte is. And holy shit, this show is a fucking train wreck. And
you still have to finish the second episode before FNT.
I am going to finish the second episode. I watched like the first 5 or 10 minutes of it. God, man. It's just, the show is the most expensive, cheap piece of shit I've ever seen. It does look very generic and very bland. It doesn't feel like Star Wars at all. But the thing that stands out to me, and I don't know if it's because I'm just so entrenched in all this bullshit. It's obvious that this is a diversity showcase. That's what it is. It's a diversity showcase. They go out of their way. This fucking second episode, it opens up with a diverse little girl, and they have to show you she's diverse. There's no fucking way that was going to be a little white kid, okay? They wanted you to see, like, this is diversity. There are little to no white people in this universe, you fucking assholes, and you need to realize that. That's what the point of this show is.
Well, I know you haven't watch the second episode. But when you do, there is a white guy, and he's a Jedi Master.
Two white guys. There was two white guys.
A white guy who's a Jedi Master who ends up killing himself because of his guilt of what he did to this black girl. So that's legitimately what happens. So spoiler alert for you watching it. I do wonder, like, I don't have the same visceral reaction, despite the of my Batman review. I don't have the same visceral reaction every time I see a brown person on screen that you do. But I do wonder what it would be like if we hadn't had the 2 years of lead up of them talking about the show, of them getting paraded out at Star Wars Celebration just to talk about diversity and representation and all that shit. I wonder what it would feel like if we didn't have all of that context and just were watching the show. How would it feel? And it truly is. This was not a audition type of casting. This was they went out and found the people they wanted to play these characters, not the right person for the job. Amandla Stenberg, this was made for her. I don't know if you've seen that stuff. I made a video about it probably 3 or 4 months ago. But Amandla Stenberg revealed in an interview that like the show is made for her. When Leslie Headland approached her, not in like some audition, anything like that, approached her and said, "Hey, I have made this show with you in mind. All of the pre-production, all of the pictures and all of the designs, it all had Amandla Stenberg's face in it. Like this was made for her." So when you talk about the people that Lucasfilm goes out to hire, when you see the clips come up of, obviously it was from 2018, but her talking about the purpose was to make white people cry with her movie about police brutality against black criminals. Like these are the people that Lucasfilm wants there. These are the people they seek out. It's not simply the best person for the job and it happened to be a super diverse cast. They go out of their way to find these people to plug them in.
Well, again, and that's my problem with it is I don't like being told exactly what the point of, like, let's go back to the fucking NWO, okay? WCW days. If I'm told before Scott Hall and Kevin Nash show up to invade WCW, if I'm told by the people involved with WCW, hey, we're going to do this and you're going to need to react like that, then I'm just going to be like, well, you've already fucking ruined it. Like, I don't need to be told the story or the point of your casting or your decisions before they happen. They've told us over and over again, we want diversity in Star Wars. We need more diversity. We need more women. We need more non-white people. Because diversity is, all diversity means is anti-white. That's what diversity means. I don't care what it used to mean. In the Hollywood standard, in the 2024 standard, the word diversity means less white people. That's what it means. And Lucasfilm has used that terminology over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where every time you watch one of their products now, you realize, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going out of their way to not cast white people to push a social justice message. Growing up, I watched a lot of movies. I've talked about this many times. Above the Rim, Boys in the Hood, you know, all these movies. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. There were no white people in these fucking movies. I didn't give a shit because they were funny. And they were meant to not have white people in them because they were talking about the hood. Now they talk about the hood these days, and it's like this utopia because it's told by a bunch of white liberals that don't know anything about the fucking hood. And they think that it's all Wakanda and all this shit. People are tired of this shit. And that's why it's being rejected. So, yes, this is a diversity showcase. What this show is a diversity showcase to let you know that we want little to no white people, period. And they've accomplished that.
But there are much bigger issues with the Acolyte than just the diversity showcase, right?
100%.
The idea that this is pitched as a big mystery, right? Someone's killing Jedi, blah, blah, blah. A big mystery that everyone's trying to solve. The mystery gets resolved in 15 minutes, and the big reveal that, there's actually a secret twin out there that's doing this gets resolved in like 15 fucking minutes. The main character that was in the marketing more than any other. Obviously, you had Amandla Stenberg. We knew that she was going to be the lead character. But in every single promotional spot we saw, it was all about this fight between her and Carrie-Anne Moss. And for Carrie-Anne Moss's character to go out in such a bitch-made way in a very average fight, for people that are drooling over that fight sequence, I really don't understand why. I didn't think there was like a ton wrong with it, I guess, but it was pretty mid. for people saying that this combat was going to outclass the prequels. Like, there were some people that are that's what they claimed. The showrunner herself, people involved with this said, yes, it's better than the Phantom Menace. That's what they're trying to tell you with some of the combat. Maybe that comes later. Who fucking knows? But for you to kill her off in the first 5 minutes to subvert expectation, shock, and awe, it's just pathetic. It probably makes people feel ripped off that they even bothered to give it a chance.
Yeah, they really did hype her up a lot, and even the way it happened, and the whole scene with her, and how bad it was. Like, she approaches her, you know, in this bar, and then she's just sitting there, and then she starts beating the shit out of everybody.
And Carrie-Anne Moss doesn't do anything.
She doesn't do anything. She just sits there.
She sits there and watches all these dudes just get the fucking shit kicked out of them. But,
and I think that's like, and again, that was to show how strong our powerful black female is. That was to showcase that. But in reality, your big bad Jedi master's just sitting there watching this happen. You're like, what the hell is going on right now? Why is nothing happening?
And I'm really sick of it too, because like they think the entire purpose of this series is to show the Jedi in a bad light. Right? That's what they want to do. Oh, from our perspective, the Jedi are evil. That's kind of what they're going back to. As if that hasn't been done, as if that wasn't part of the prequels, was acknowledging that the Jedi had a lot of flaws, that they had started becoming far too attached to the government instead of listening to the will of the Force. Like, all these different things. Like, that was a major part of the prequels. And to pretend like we need to go back and rectify something to show the Jedi as flawed, that's not the case at all. But they're going to go extremely overboard and show the Jedi as fucking evil pieces of shit. That is the point of this series. That's why you're uncovering, oh, what did all these 4 people cover up on this planet? What are they trying to get to? And you're supposed to have sympathy for May. I'm really fucking sick and tired of these usually female, gender ambiguous, sexuality ambiguous, racially ambiguous villains who you're really supposed to have sympathy for them as characters. You know, that's the entire point. Can we just have some people that are fucking villains, that are fucking bad people, that you don't have to have like, oh, well, I can understand the reasoning why she'd want revenge for all this stuff. Fuck off with that. Yep. Star Wars is a story of good and evil. Can you see people fall down evil paths by trying to do good things? Yes. The story of Anakin fucking Skywalker, okay? But it's just annoying at this point. I'm ready to have villains who are just fucking villains.
Now, based on what we've heard from Chris Gore about episodes 3 and 4, and that would put us halfway through the series at that point in time, and based on what we've heard, do you think that this is on track to be the worst thing that Disney Star Wars has produced?
I think so, yeah.
It looks like it's heading in that direction. It really does. And this is
like there's some things about this show that I think are a step better than some stuff we've seen before. Like, I think the dialogue, for the most part, I think is better than Ahsoka. Now, I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's groundbreaking. I'm not saying it's a big positive. But I do think the dialogue in a lot of ways, and at least the way the characters interact with each other, is better than Ahsoka. Like, the Ahsoka series is, I think it's so fucking, it's overrated. It doesn't get enough hate because the dialogue and the pauses between things, the way people speak to each other, it's so pretentious. It's like Dave Filoni thinking that he needs a 5-second pause between every sentence these characters utter because people are just going to be busy coming themselves to his show. Like that's what it feels like. And it's really off-putting. So I at least think the way that some characters interact with each other is a little bit better than something we saw in Ahsoka. But it's about to get a whole lot worse in terms of, if you thought the DEI identity politics-based agenda was bad in these first couple episodes, episode 3 is going to take it off the rails, and it's going to destroy the Force in perpetuity.
Now, shockingly enough, right before we went live, me and you were discussing a little bit of this show, and we both kind of had a one minor agreement on something that's, I guess it's not overly negative, and that is that the actress, the lead actress, so she's like, you could see where she could be likable if she wasn't written so terribly. And of course, if she was such an unlikable person in real life because she's a raging leftist feminist propaganda bullshit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Amanda Stein, is it Steinberg or Stenberg?
Amanda Stenberg. She's not Jewish.
I could see her being like, if she wasn't this is a classic case of liberalism just absolutely destroying a person. If she wasn't a raging leftist, I could see her being a likable person, and she is. There is likable elements you could see in her character, but she's written to be an absolutely unlikable piece of shit. Or, you know, the cringe dialogue, the CW aspect of this whole fucking show, all that. You know what I mean? It's so bad. It's almost like, what's her name? Fucking Rose Tico. Kelly Marie Tran. Kelly Marie Tran is a massively likable person when she's doing interviews. They dressed her up in a potato sack and made her a complete idiot in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, like the complaints are about like Kelly Marie Tran. The complaints are about Rose Tico as a character. Right. Now, when it comes to Amanda Stenberg, with all this stuff we have on her from different interviews and her agenda that's clearly at play, that's a little bit different. I think that her as Asha, the good sister, I think she's okay. You know, like there's moments where I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. I'm kind of feeling that from her. Okay. I think she's horrific as the dark side, as May. I don't find it compelling at all. She's playing two characters, obviously twins. I'm sure we'll get to see a little bit more of that in the future. But yeah, agreed. For somebody that's self-described as a gay, black, non-binary radical feminist,
good God,
like who wants to use her platform to like make change and undermine the white supremacy that exists in Hollywood. Her words, not mine. Yeah, she was surprisingly not completely hateable as the main character.
But the show overall is a complete and total shit show. And that's why at this point in time, you have a 27% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which let's just call that what it is. That's the fan score. Okay. That's the fan score. And 91% from the shills. And that's what I put in my thumbnail is shills versus fans. And that's what it is. And you're seeing it right now with a lot of the coverage of this show. The people that are getting access, the people that are connected to Disney are pretending like this is a good show. And it's a horrible show. And it's only going to get worse. I've heard that I think Christian Harloff, people are saying Christian Harloff complimented episode 3. He said episode 3 was really good. Holy shit. That's amazing. But he's been working his ass off as a Star Wars fan for now 7 years or 8 years now, Ryan. Busted his ass.
Like we'll see how episode 3 ends up. All we've heard is from people that we trust say what's going to happen. We'll see what happens when it comes out and we can judge for ourselves. But you're right about one thing. The woke media has been working overtime to do damage control for this thing. And you know, whenever you have a show where you have to launch preemptive strikes against the fans before it even comes out, that they in all likelihood know they've got a massive shit show on their hands. Well, here it is. Jeremy, 27% by the fans on Rotten Tomatoes. That is the lowest score we've seen in Star Wars history. Worse than anything. Worse than The Last Jedi. Worse than the Clone Wars movie, okay? But we're talking about some historically bad things, and this is at 27%. And every time the critics love something and the fans hate it, what do we hear? Review bombing, review bombing, review bombing. The Acolyte review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. The Acolyte faces backlash and divided Star Wars fandom with review bombing affecting ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Review bombing drowns out any legitimate criticisms, harming constructive feedback. And I know you replied to that tweet that they put out that they're getting ratioed on.
Yes.
Where they said there's a lot of, half-star reviews that aren't very detailed with people who have only reviewed one thing. That was their excuse for the review bombing, right? And we're just seeing this shit repeated on website after website. Review bombing, review bombing, review bombing. You know what? Should we look at some of the reviews, Jeremy?
Let's look at some of these reviews because we've talked about this time and time again. Review bombing. Is review bombing a thing, Ryan? Yes.
For sure.
But not just negative. And this is the narrative that they try to spin with it. There are positive review bombing situations and negative review bombing situations because that's what's called fandom. Fandom is always passionate. I talked about this in my video. Christopher Nolan fans, Zack Snyder fans, Quentin Tarantino fans, what do they all have in common? They are passionate as fuck about their favorite director. And they will positively review bomb their favorite director's movies, regardless if they're good or not. Christopher Nolan is probably the worst of it. And that's because they will give his movies, again, I'm one of them. massively positive reviews across the board. They just do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with negatively review bombing something if you think it's a piece of shit. Passion has always existed in fandom. Did the prequels get review bombed, Ryan? No. People didn't like the fucking prequels. Me and you liked the prequels, and a lot of people liked the prequels. But just because the prequels got a lot of negativity doesn't mean that it was review bombed by toxic trolls. It was review bombed by people that didn't like it, so they went in there and let people know they didn't like it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's always the same thing. It's only review bombing when the critics like something and the fans don't. That's when it gets labeled review bombing. But
Yeah.
like you said...
refresh. It's down to 26% apparently, the Rotten Tomatoes score now.
Nice. Let's look at that.
That's what Yellow Flash said. So...
Where is it? Down to 26%. Look at that. We got another review bomb that just dropped. But we should go through a couple of these because there's 5-star reviews. You know, there's half-star reviews. Here's James. He said he sat down with his 8-year-old daughter. Let's check his profile. He gave it a positive review. Well, he's reviewed the Marvels and the Acolyte. At least he's reviewed one other thing. Congratulations to him. What about Darius? Darius T. He sounds like a fan of mine. He gave it a half-star. Oh, shit. He's reviewed Black Adam and loved it. What the fuck's wrong with you, Darius? He's reviewed Pinocchio, didn't like it. He's reviewed Velma, he's reviewed Acolyte. Okay? Liked one thing out of the 4 things. That's one of those half-star, not very detailed things that they say are just people making up accounts to do this. What about Jake B? Well, Jake B's one of those people. Only reviewed one thing ever. Man, that's weird. Okay, so maybe you can justify that. What about Becca B? I think Becca B probably has a long list of ratings. Oh, shit. Becca B, who comes in just licking Leslie Headland's vagina, right? That's what she did in her review. 5-star. Only thing she's reviewed. Is
positive
this a
review
fake
bombing?
Review? Like
positive.
Fake positive review. Is that what it should be? Should we label it that? Mainstream media? Like, we can do this with the 5-star reviews as well. Oh, what do you know? Another one. From what the fuck is this guy's name? I don't even know where it went. David H. So you can do this. You can pick and choose.
Yes,
but the reality is the vast majority of people do not like this show. The mainstream media can't handle it. They're running damage control, and they're claiming that every bad review out there, every half-star review, it must just be fake. And they're ignoring all of the, what in their mind should be considered fake too, positive reviews.
Yes. I mean, again, tactic by the media constantly to dismiss. The Screen Rant article broke down all of the Disney Star Wars series. And it's almost like it was a self-own because they showed Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 both had 92 and 91% fan scores versus Season 3 had a 51%. Andor had an 86, I believe. Yeah, there it is right there. So here you have it. Like this just proves right here that the fans, just because Disney Star Wars is in a bad place, it doesn't mean that they're automatically going to give negative reviews just for the sake of negative reviews. Andor probably had the smallest audience of any series on this list, but it got an 86%. But guess what? Mandalorian Season 1 had the biggest audience of any series on this list, and it has a 92%. Season 2 has a 91%, and then Season 3 falls off a fucking cliff. But then you have something like the Book of Boba Fett. Well, I guess it's okay that the fans hated that because the critics also hated it too. So therefore, we didn't get any review bombing, narratives out there about the Book of Boba Fett. This is ridiculous. This right here proves, this just destroys their entire case. And it shows fans will positively respond if they like something. Simple as that.
And it's them admitting, look, they say, what's remarkable here and indicative of review bombing is the sheer scale of the difference. Wow, if the critics who are preordained to love something because it's got a bunch of gays and blacks and disabled people and trans in it, right? Like, if they like something and the audience doesn't, then that means it's review bombing. If the fans disagree with us, that means it's review bombing. That's what they're saying.
Yes. Damn it.
Which is just bullshit. Review bombing, review boosting goes both ways. They never want to talk about one, but they're willing to talk about the other all day long. And we're going to get to some more Disney damage control, too. You're seeing the media do damage control, but Disney is also doing massive damage control. They released They've never done this before in history, Jeremy. They released their first day viewership ratings for the Acolyte. And they did it in a way that's slimy and scummy with slippery math that makes retards think that it's actually successful.
That's
which
their
is
game.
The entire point of it. The entire point is to create a headline and people just see headlines. Oh, wow, that looks impressive. I guess it really did well. Well, we're going to go over that in a little bit, but I think we got some super chats to catch up on.
Yes,
first.
and welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, so we got a lot of super chats. Let's see if I can find. There was a David Phillips for 50 says, please, please, please look up Miss Alabama. Yeah, I retweeted that one. I said Nick Saban retiring ruined more than just a football team, apparently. Holy shit, man. That Miss Alabama, I don't know what the context is or
so
what.
It's a little bit, again, just like so many things that kind of blow up, there's a little bit like more. It's not the traditional, like, big-time branded Miss America thing. It's like some little offshoot that's focused on diversity and body positivity and shit like that. So it's like the off-brand, right? It's like the fucking Walmart brand of the Miss America pageant. But that is who ended up winning. So, I mean, that bitch, fat and ugly, man.
Dude, she makes Gorlock look skinny. That's
She
how
really
bad
does.
it is. That's how bad it is. Absolutely insane. Holy crap.
Daniel Valencia for $1.99. Jeremy John's roasting the Acolyte was glorious. Yeah, so I put out his review. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm looking forward to hearing John's.
Andre CR for 2,500. Way to shit up my Friday with the ugliest person alive. Lesby headlamp on the thumbnail, guys. Thanks a lot. You're
Ryan's
welcome.
fault.
Fred Bigums for 5. The entire story arc of the first 2 episodes of Acolyte could have been resolved in 10 minutes of episode 1 with the Jedi mind trick. Did you do it? No roll. Yes. That's the other thing. When they show in the first couple minutes of the first episode that they can just use their little Jedi mind trick to get any information they want out of people. Why wouldn't you just be doing that all the fucking time? Like every situation, when they go to the guy in the store, they should have just done that, got all the information out of him. Like, you could justify maybe not being able to use it on Force users if they wanted to protect their minds. I'm fine with that. But in the case of Asha, who's saying, I didn't do this, they could have easily just used that, looked into her mind like you showed him doing earlier, and she could have been accepting to it, not tried to push back, and they could have realized she's telling the truth. So much dumb shit in the writing. What kind of fucking prison ship do you have where you stow the prisoners, where the prisoners' cells are on the fucking bridge?
No, it's so dumb.
How retarded. And you think you just put this person under arrest for killing a Jedi Master. And you think that if she wanted to escape, she wouldn't have the means to? There are so many things about it that are dumb as fuck, let alone how there's no sense of time or scale or anything. This murder happened on this random planet last night, so we traveled from Coruscant to the other side of the galaxy to find you here. Who knows whether you could have got there or not in that amount of time? And then you're back and forth and back and forth. The concept of space travel and hyperspace and how long it takes to get places, there is none anymore. Disney Star Wars has completely destroyed any sense of scale in the galaxy.
Yeah, it's true. It feels like they've as much as they've tried to expand the galaxy by showing how wide and diverse the world is, in reality they've made it feel even smaller than it's ever felt before. It feels smaller now than it did in A New Hope.
It feels like you can get anywhere in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Which is just not the fucking case.
Yep.
Hyperspace travel, these different lanes, like, it can take weeks to reach your destination sometimes. But this is Disney Star Wars. The Penetrator for $1. There you go, Jeremy. Keith Balavia, member for a month. So Jeremy John's review of The Acolyte was negative. I guess he's now part of the negative review bombing.
Aren't we all?
Matthew Wade for $1.99. Hope you guys make a fortune on the dog shit show. I think a fortune's out of the question a little bit, but it's certainly helping. Prometheus Creation for 5 says, Brave, you can share audio. There you go,
Noted.
Jeremy.
I'll check that out.
Bottom barrel budget films for 2 and or greater than The Acolyte. Happy Men's Mental Health Month. Yeah, happy Men's Mental Health Month. Derek PG Beller for $1.99. It's National Donut Day. Get some, Ryan. I'm good. Burb Shid for 5. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a spin-off channel called Greeks and Gamers that really loves the Acolyte. Maybe there is. Tobias for 10. Wait, people can get views? How does that work? I get maybe 20. Do I need to suffer and watch woke shit to talk about anyone to see my videos? Nah, I'll stick to streaming games. No, the concept that it's very funny. Like the concept that, well, you just need to have a negative take on something. That's the only way to get views. YouTube is full of people enjoying shit, positive reviews of things. It is full of people with massive channels that get massive views doing just that.
Yep.
The notion that, well, you have to talk about something negative for anyone to care that's a completely false notion. It's wrong. Look at the landscape of YouTube. You can see that very fucking clearly. And guess what? When you talk positively about things, you end up getting early access to this or that or whatever. You know, if you decide to really not take a critical look at anything and just want to do positive stuff, and that gets you better views because you get first access to it.
Yep. Agreed.
So that's a false notion that people like to, because they want to paint anyone that talks about something negatively or a lot of things negatively right now in the landscape of Hollywood as a grifter, as whatever, which is just bullshit.
I get a lot of views praising Donald Trump. Very positive channel over there on D-Day Cobra. Very positive.
There you go. Moose for $5. Got my beer and cooking bacon. Worked 55 hours in urgent care this week. Glad I got G&G to ASMR my sleep to. Fuck woke Star Wars, by the way. Thank you, Moose. Jay Allen becomes a channel member. Eli Saul, who's ready for the next installment of Shit Clown Wars. 199. Charles Fuxel. Member for a month. It's fan fiction. That's all it'll ever be. We don't need it. We don't want it. And it will never, ever be our Star Wars. That's true. Blabs a Tower Tard for 2. Ryan, the N-word expert. I don't know where that came from. Mr. Wendell, speaking of, for 2. Ryan, I hope you got Jay some donuts today. No, I'm not getting anybody donuts. If I do, it'll just be for myself. Steve Fitch for 5. It was fun watching Theory try to be optimistic about the Acolyte on Drinkers podcast last night. Can't wait for him to see episode 3. He can be saved. I mean,
yeah, he was on Open Bar yesterday. I didn't get to watch all of it. But did he really like, was he on that panel? Was he really trying to defend it? That's funny.
I didn't watch it, so I can't say. The Acolyte is fucking disastrous. Dave Filoni is a massive piece of shit and is not going to save Star Wars. That's really all I can say, I guess. But I didn't see the stream, so. Cole Hauser for 2. Way too many riggers in Star Wars right now. Thanks, Cole Hauser. As you hold up my doll in your photo. Mr. Wendell for 2. Ryan, it's National Donut Day. Buy me some shoes. Get fucked, dude. I'm not buying any homeless people anything. Just buy drugs with it. Moose for 2. No, diversity means ESG scores a little different. Yeah. So you are gonna watch the last episode before FNT, right?
Yes, but we can talk about it. Like you can talk about it if you want to. Like I saw like the first maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it, and I'm just like, God, this is so fucking bad. I could be watching literally anything else right now. I fucking hate Disney Star Wars so much. But I am going to watch this series reluctantly because it's just too much of a train wreck to not roast it and watch this demise of Star Wars all over again. And yes, Star Wars is dead. It is truly dead. But it's fun roasting the dead corpse of Star Wars. But yeah, it's over. There's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from this in any way, shape, or form. Now, that's already been the case. I gave up on Star Wars. I want to say I think my true moment of giving up on Star Wars was after they fired Gina. And then I went ahead and watched Obi-Wan Kenobi because my wonderful chat bullied me into it by sending me super chats. So mean of them. And I hated Kenobi. And I thought Kenobi was the worst thing we've ever seen up to this point. I thought it was worse than The Last Jedi, worse than Rise of Skywalker. But apparently Book of Boba Fett was even more horrendous in terms of just, I guess, quality.
Yeah, I think just in terms of if you're just evaluating something as a show and not necessarily the damage it does to the surrounding universe, like that's how I would have. I think that's like the worst thing they had done to date. Mando season 3, probably a close second to that, to be honest.
This looks like this could be the worst thing just from a production standpoint, but also like from a lore standpoint. This looks like this can do both of them in this show. And there's the rumors out there, and I don't know how legitimate it is. I don't know if it was just a comment made during an interview, but apparently a Leslie Headland has expressed interest in wanting to do a Knights of the Old Republic series.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'll probably talk about that in a video. That would be the worst possible fucking thing she could do. Someone with her fucking attitude, taking a character in Kreia whose view of the Force is flawed, and her probably presenting it as if it's not flawed. They're gonna fuck up the Force in this series completely. The one thing about the Acolyte is, like, obviously when it's set before, you can really fuck up a lot of things. When it comes to specific characters, that was one of the questions with the Acolyte, is if they're not going to involve any of these legacy characters, they're not going to have any of these cameos, how much damage could they really do? Well, if you decide to have Force Immaculate Conception between two twins with lesbian mothers, and the potential, I've heard the potential floated out there that they're implying that Anakin is not the chosen one, he's just a chosen one, right? If they do that and they completely pervert the Force, then all of a sudden you're doing more damage to actual characters we care about and to the entire universe as a whole. And holy fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking, shockingly, thanks to Chris Gore, I'm actually looking forward to episode 3. I am looking forward to episode 3. I can't wait to see this. And apparently,
in the same way that after you've been waiting in line for half an hour in traffic, you're excited to look at the car crash to see why the fuck you've been waiting in traffic.
Yes, pretty much.
And then usually you get up there and it's nothing. You're like, what the fuck was this all about? Nobody died here.
And then apparently we're pronouns as far, I don't know if it's episode 3 or 4, we're getting pronouns in Star Wars, which is fantastic. Holy crap. And this is like so far before like the prequel era and the original trilogy and all that. So like, what happened to this universe? What happened to get us to where all the diversity is gone by the time we get to those eras? What happens, Ryan?
Well, we asked the same question in Rings of Power. Like, was there a Hobbit Holocaust that happened? You know what I mean? Where they just decided to round up all the ones that weren't white and like put them out in the field somewhere. Like, what happened? These are the questions you have to answer when you do these things.
It's so dumb. But this is Disney Star Wars. This is Hollywood. This is the current day we're in.
Well, and you knew that Disney was not going to sit idly by. With the preemptive strikes they launched on fans to do damage control, you knew that wasn't going to take them long to actually do damage control. But we've never seen Disney do anything like they just did yesterday in an effort to make this show look better. We know, we've talked about Rotten Tomatoes, the worst reviewed thing in history, in the history of Star Wars, worst audience score for The Acolyte. So it wasn't surprising that Disney felt the need to get out ahead of this, even if they had to do it by basically lying through their teeth. These are now the headlines this morning that a lot of people are reading and assuming, well, I guess, well, Disney, this must be really good for Disney then. The Acolyte delivers most first day views of any 2024 Disney Plus launch.
These are the LeBron James statistics, man.
Yes, yes. This is this is the most points ever scored on a third Friday in a month that has 31 days in it. Yes. In a game that's played after 3 p.m. Like shit like that, right?
So if you guys are curious about that, LeBron James, for the longest, ESPN would invent things to say that LeBron James set the record for this obscure thing that no one had ever even considered to be a thing, just so they could give you a headline that LeBron James broke a record. That's what they've done for years. Also owned by Disney, by the way. And now this is what they're doing with this. It's they're hoping for people that are just going to react to the headline, much like the people that hate us. They screenshot our titles of our videos. They don't actually listen to anything that's said and they cry about it. Those are the people that they are targeting with this. They are targeting the people that just want to hit the screenshot and go, oh, well, look, it's the biggest first day launch in the entire 2024 Disney Plus launch, guys. It must be successful. But wait, there's more. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, because one thing about what does that mean? This is what they put out. The Acolyte reaches 4.8 million views in one day, the biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. Well, what does that mean? They didn't say the biggest Star Wars launch. They didn't say anything like that. We have never once ever got first day viewing data from Disney. Not ever have they released that shit. So not only do we have nothing to compare that number to, but think about what's come out so far in 2024. The two most high-profile releases for them have been Echo, which they dumped all in one day and was, from what we can tell, the worst viewed Marvel Disney Plus series in history. And then you have X-Men 97, which didn't even chart. And that's an animated show. I know some people have good feelings about it. Like, I don't think that you should really expect a show like that, an animated show that's geared towards an audience that watched the cartoon when they were a kid. I don't think you should expect that to chart, period.
Right.
But, like, that's what it's up against. So you're saying that this beat those two. That is the lowest bar I've ever fucking seen. But this number in and of itself is also super fucking deceptive. Because we've seen Disney do this. Remember when Ahsoka, when there was backlash towards Ahsoka, and for the first time in history, they told us, hey, it got 14 million views in the first 5 days or whatever it was. Something important to note there. They didn't do Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 got 14 million views. They told you the first episode, also launched with 2 episodes, but they told you the first one got 14 million views. Whereas when it comes to the Acolyte, they're just saying the series accumulated 4.8 million views in the first day of release. So they are including the second episode in these numbers, which is something we've never seen them do before, in an effort to try to make it look as good as they possibly can. This is a massive spin.
Mm-hmm.
And even Variety really fails to acknowledge some of that, because look at the fucking math they decide to do. An exact first day viewership total isn't available for Ahsoka, the most recent Disney Star Wars series, though Disney did report it took 5 days to reach 14 million views. That comes out to an average of 2.8 million viewers per day, 2 million below the launch of The Acolyte. Well, one, when shows come out, they're front-loaded, obviously. A lot of people are going to watch it in the first day or two after the release, and then it's going to tail off. So that's really not a great way to look at it. But if you consider the fact that they added in the second episode, at least it looks like they added in the second episode. They didn't say The Acolyte premiere. They said The Acolyte series tallied 4.8 million views. Well, you'd really have to cut that almost in half, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And then 2.4 million wouldn't look as good as your retarded fucking math that you tried to use for Ahsoka. And this is a time and time again things we see when it comes to Disney trying to get ahead of bullshit like this. Do you remember Echo, Jeremy, when they told us that Echo was a smash hit? When everybody came out and said Disney told us that it was #1 on Hulu and Disney Plus. It's a massive hit for Disney. And then reality came out. We got the actual ratings, and we found out that it was the worst when you take it all in totality, how it was released, viewership for all these different episodes. It was actually the worst, the least watched show in the history of Marvel on Disney Plus. Like, time and time again, they try to do this, and it ends up backfiring in their faces. But a lot of low information, retarded people will only see a headline like this, and they'll run with it. And that's really their goal.
Yeah, and then, again, you look back on the history of what we've had with Disney, you know if something is actually turning the needle. You as the fan, you as a person that's on social media, we can tell if something's turning the needle. Did we have to be told that, that Infinity War was like a massive success, Ryan? Or could you just tell? You could tell.
Yeah, you could tell.
Everybody was talking about it. Did we need to be told that Solo was a success? Because let's just imagine Solo released on Disney Plus streaming. Well, that would have had headlines just like this, because they would have been spinning it, because no one went to see Solo, a Star Wars story, which failed and lost money. Solo lost money. So Disney doesn't need to fake this stuff when it's an actual success. They don't need to. When Infinity War, with Iron Man, with Captain America, with Endgame, they don't need to fake any of this stuff, because you can tell that people are watching it and reacting to it and having discussions about it, and they're excited about it, and they're talking about it everywhere. No one is positively talking about The Acolyte anywhere outside of the shills and stuff like that. But like the discussion on social media, fans are not actually out there talking about how much they enjoyed it. Were people talking about The Mandalorian season 1? Yes, they were. You're damn right they were. Were people talking about The Mandalorian season 2 positively? Yes, they were. It was everywhere. Were they talking about season 3 of The Mandalorian in a positive way? No, they weren't. You can tell when something is actually connecting with the audience and when it's not. You can tell by the online discussion that's going on. Mando season 1 and 2, massive response from the audience. Season 3, not so much. So Disney is having to fake this because they don't have any real excitement for this show. They do it all the time to try to spin the narrative. But the reality of it is nobody's talking about Ahsoka anymore. No one was talking about Ahsoka after the first fucking 2 episodes. Did it release 2 episodes?
It did. It did 2 episodes initially. And and that's the thing. Even if you take it all at face value, and we assume that it's just completely take it on good faith that it's just doing incredible. If that is the case, and I've said multiple times that I actually think this series has a chance to, at least ratings-wise, do Ahsoka numbers maybe a little better, but probably not up to even Book of Boba Fett or something like that. Even if that's all the case, the reaction from the fan base and everybody fucking despising it, like what did we see for this? The viewership will fall off, just like Ahsoka fell off drastically after those first couple episodes and ended up being an embarrassing failure for Star Wars. And now you're looking at something that likely has double that budget, and the fan base has rejected it like we've never seen anything rejected before. And that's even if you take everything at face value and assume that they're being completely truthful and not trying to spin anything in any way, then still the reaction from the fan base, that is not going to negate something like that.
Very true. So this is where we are, the spin machine, the spin cycle, and the people that you're sending your little, care packages to, your little shill YouTuber friends and all of that, the people that are obsessed with taking pictures with people from the cast and the crew, they're going to tell you how great this show is. But I think you, the audience member, can tell when people are actually enjoying something and when they're not enjoying something. And no one is enjoying The Acolyte. Nobody is talking about this in a positive way, genuinely. It's just not happening. And the shills, the media, the spin machine, they cannot cover that up. As hard as they try, it doesn't matter. You're just putting lipstick on a pig at that point in time. So there you go.
Can't wait until we actually see what these numbers are. Let me catch up on some of these super chats, or Rumble rants, I should say. Bronsonite, tell your custom PC sponsor to send you a new computer so you can get off that broke down Bama gay ass bootleg rig of yours crashing from all the porn pop-ups. Says Bronsonite.
I'm not a retard. I don't watch that shit on my computer, only my phone.
That's what phones are for, you dumbasses.
You have to be a retard to do that.
Yeah, like if you're watching porn on your PC, the same PC that you like stream from, you have a fucking problem.
Yes.
Like you legitimately have a fucking problem. There's something wrong with you. Roscoe for $1. Are you retarded? Thank you. Bronsonite for $1. So how is the apocalypse going on Criticless? The Acolyte, I don't know. We could take a look at that.
Yeah, hell, if you guys aren't aware, check out Criticless. It's basically a Rotten Tomatoes alternative that you don't have a lot of bullshit over there. So I'm sure mods will be able to drop links as well for Criticless.
PJ for $5. Yeah, Ryan's reading rants and chats. Does this mean mine won't get skipped? Well, we'll see. I've been known to skip 1 or 2, but chances are probably better.
Well, they've improved Rumble as well.
You can go back and look, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
PJ for $5. Quick question. If you identify as at least one or more letters of the LGBTQ army, are you required to pay the cover charge or ticket for each one? Seems only fair. DEI is our strength.
Ask Dan Vask. He'll know.
He'll know. All gay questions direct towards Dan Vask. Vault Survivor for $1. Jeremy, which mode does Trump prefer in Fortnite, build or no build?
No build, 100%.
God, Trump playing Fortnite be a shit show.
No. The whole thing is, so there's this fucking guy that keeps asking me like about Trump's policies on Gaza and Israel and all this shit, and he's like, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Go ask him if you want to know. I don't know. And so now everybody's asking me.
Super chat Trump.
Yeah, like, I mean, what do you expect me to say? What's his, so now everybody's asking me all these random questions about what Trump prefers, pineapple pizza, all this shit. So it's part of a meme now.
Valkyria Winner, member for 14 months. Just normal men. We're just normal men. Hail 199. You're both gay. Lock it in. Love the chat. Love you guys in Skull.
Thank you,
Valkyria. Graph for 2. For fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. Thank you, GraphWeb. Prometheus Creations for $5. The fight was bad Matrix choreography. Yeah, it was clearly supposed to give you that vibe. And for Carrie-Anne Moss's character, Master Indara, I guess, is not that we need to know because she died in 5 minutes. It felt like she was very lackadaisical, like letting her evaluate how good this person really may be, like to try to see. After, like, she waited till after she's beat the fuck out of who knows how many people in that bar before she steps in. And yeah, maybe that does make the Jedi look fucking retarded. Maybe that's the point. Zamo for 10 months. I bet Hedlund, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, made the show for her because she wanted to shag her or already did. Maybe. I don't know how her wife, who's also in this show, feels about that.
Oh, she's bad in the show. Her wife is bad. Like, she is not believable at all in that role.
One of the issues when it does come to some of the acting and how it's, I think she's cringe as fuck. And that character, by the way, that character is from the High Republic books, the High Republic books that nobody care about. Vernestra Rowe. This is a character who we heard stories about her, like stories were written when she was like 15 years old, and she was just an incredible Jedi prodigy and the youngest to do this, the youngest to do that. Just fucking amazing, right? That's who that character was. Now she's grown up and is cast Leslie Headland's wife, Rebecca Henderson, in the role.
It's so unbelievable.
And when it does come to some of the dialogue deliveries, specifically from the Jedi, it's a little bit tough because we know that the Jedi are supposed to be fairly stoic, right? There is no emotion, there is peace. So if some of I feel like the expectation for a lot of Jedi during that time may be to give a little bit bland type of delivery. Now, if you're making a show, you need to mix it up. You need to have them to have the feel of a Jedi, yet still have personality to themselves and a little bit of difference between this person and that person. I guess we'll see what goes on if that character gets any better or worse, but we'll see. Again, was that person just the best person for the job that you happen to cast another lesbian for this? Or is it because it's your fucking wife?
It's exactly why, and you know that, and everybody knows that. Yeah, she's distractingly bad in the role. I didn't know it was her wife when I saw the first episode. I didn't know that. And I've been talking
about it for months. You just don't fucking listen to me.
Yeah, well, I didn't care about this show until I learned I could grift off of it really good. All right? That's what it takes around here, okay? If I know I can
Jay made a video that did well, and you're like, well, shit, now I need to hop on this.
I really have tuned out on all this shit. But yeah, I'm watching the first episode. I did not know that was her wife until after the fact. And even before then, I'm like, this person is distractingly bad in this role. Like, it's not good. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like this person should be in this position at all. And then I find out it's her wife.
Let's see. SBZ for 5. It's clear now that with the Acolyte, Disney's no longer subtle in their quest to destroying Star Wars. Why Trump hasn't said anything about it? I don't know why Trump hasn't made a comment on the fucking Acolyte. The Under Armour Gamer, member for 31 months. Hey, Ryan, thank you for the Darth Bane series recommendation. I'm about to finish the first book. Also, Jeremy, there isn't any Pride browser for you. Lord J for 5. Lesbian headlamp wouldn't know about the failings of the Jedi in the prequels because she didn't watch them. I don't know. When Leslie Headland made that comment about, I understand Star Wars fans being disappointed with Star Wars projects in the past. I really wish she would have, specifically, which ones? Which project? Are you talking the prequels? You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved to hear what she meant when she said that before she said all fans are racist and homophobes if you don't like my show. Fear the Tardo for 20. Because gay month, Tardo want to tell about first legal guardian Kevin. Kevin always asked Tardo to play with Snake in pants. Snake spit white venom on Tardo's hand. Tardo told teacher, and Kevin lose custody and job in house cards. Lock it in, yay. Wow, sounds like maybe a famous Kevin you're talking about there. Don't know. Master Gawa for 5. It'd be fun to talk to Ian Carroll about how part of the attempt to destroy gaming by destroying GameStop is backfiring on markets because of Roaring Kitty.
I saw he went live the other day. The guy from the investor or whatever. He had like a ton of people watching him. I don't know anything about that story, but I know he went live and had. This is like the first time in years he went live.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that GameStop was about to explode today because, like, in the pre-market, it got all the way up to almost $70. It crashed this morning. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't have any fucking money saved for anything. The concept of like saving money for later on in life is foreign. I'm just gonna work till I die. So should probably reconsider that, but that's just the way it is. Rare for 10. Jeremy's peak movie is Deliverance, white and rapey. Also, it's weird that the people that are the true minorities, population-wise, need to be diversified. Yeah, I guess that's a very good point. Especially the rapey part. Karnak Catcherall, member for 11 months. Shout out to Literature Devil's new Indiegogo campaign for Dr. Alpha. Both comics, Miracle Child and Dead Man's Lullaby, are back on the market. There you go. Check it out. Magnum Norse for $20. Let's see. Jesus Christ, Jeremy, Ricada time. Does it mean we're late or what? I don't know.
Yeah, late in Ricada. That was always a thing.
Maybe. But thank you, Magnum Norse, for the $20 super chat. Page 1 for 10. The Acolyte is stealing from so many better films. May tells Trinity they have unfinished business. Direct ripoff from Kill Bill. You can have a whole video of all the examples. It really is like it's just in like, oh, we wanted to make this, and shove it into Star Wars, and that's kind of what they've done.
And I don't have a problem when you are taking stuff from other movies, as long as you have your own stuff to add to it to make it your own thing. I mean, George Lucas famously, his Star Wars is all about George Lucas taking from all these different properties.
Well, by taking, you mean inspired by parts by parts of Dune and obviously samurai movies and fucking Flash Gordon and a bunch of things like that he had his own story to tell, and he took inspiration from these different sci-fi or samurai movies to kind of get the vibe that he wanted.
Yes. But again, that's the difference is you're taking that thing that you're inspired by, utilizing it within your story by still creating your own and making it your own story, whereas that's not what they're doing in this situation at all.
Taker for $2. And Dara fell for the hey, look over there trick. Yes. And God, if she'd only been hit with a lightsaber, maybe she would have been fucking fine. But little knife that just hit her right in the heart. Can't stop that. Dave Chandler for 5. Stenberg was Rue, the young girl who dies in the Hunger Games, who allied with Katniss. Liberalism ruined her and Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, I think that's the first role she had any, obviously she was very young then, but the Hunger Games character from District 10 or 11 or whatever the fuck. Lucas Woodcock the 4th, member for 3 months. Ryan, did something happen between you and Brie because you were simping pretty hard for Haley Steinfeld in your Young Avengers video? Also, Jeremy's a fig.
What happened, Ryan?
Literally nothing. Simping for Haley Steinfeld was me saying, of all of these fucking dog shit characters that they're going to add in the Young Avengers, honestly, the one that I liked the most in the show was Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, because she had a lot of respect for Hawkeye. I liked some of the banter between the characters. I find it the least annoying, but nobody's going to show up for that is basically what I said.
That was a long answer. When you
that equates to say, I wanted to give full context.
If something happened between you and Bree, you can let us know, Ryan. If something happened between you and Bree, if it fell apart, like we all were supportive of it. But
I'm the one that took the pictures of her in the sauna the other day. Okay, like me and Bree, okay. Demogenite for 5. Some fellas in chat. What Disney's doing is exactly what shows like the Dark Council have to exist. They really can't try that istphobe crap with us.
Hail.
There you go.
Hail to the Dark Council.
James Hewitt for Aussie $7.99. Amanda Stenberg has a white Danish father who's a CEO. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's always weird how so many of these black women that despise white men are either married to them or have a parent who's white.
Yeah. Like Colin Kaepernick. And yes, I said I'm referring to him as a woman.
Magnum Norse for 10. Mike eats monkey snatch. LOL. Fair enough. Godzilla's Greaser for 5. How can mainstream journalism be so inconsistent yet so predictable? See you in Dallas, Jeremy. He's not going.
I'm not going. I talked about this a couple days ago. It was I tried to make it work, but I do have some family stuff going on that is not letting me travel. So I tried to make it work, but I'm not going to be there. But I am making sure G&G is there. All right. And you're going to have some G&G representation, and there will be merch. So I shipped out the merch. Do you know how much it costed me to overnight the merch?
A lot.
Like $400.
This is what This is what happens when you change plans at the last minute.
I know.
Overnight
It was like
shipping.
$400 to overnight the fucking merch, which I got confirmed today that they did receive at the Ripaverse HQ. So, but yeah, that was holy shit, man. It's crazy. Edward Coleman. Oh, after we get Raiders 5198. Thank you, Raider. Appreciate that. And then
Raider never says a fucking damn
never
thing.
says
Just drops
nothing.
random numbered super chats.
Never says nothing.
But
And then
thank you,
get-
Raider.
Yeah, Edward Coleman for a $100 or a $99.99 super chat. Thank you, Edward.
You want me to read it? The only thing more depressing than the Acolyte is realizing it came out on the same day as I lost my wife last year.
Ooh.
That sucks. I'm sorry. I would have started that with a different tone if I had known that was where it finished.
Yeah, I didn't know that's where it was
And
going.
my family told me everything would get better with time. They lied. And I thought I hit rock bottom. I laughed not to cry. That
Damn.
sucks, dude. That's fucking brutal. I can't imagine going through something like that.
Yeah,
But,
man. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I thought that was going a different way too. We would have started out a little differently. This shows you we don't really pre-screen the super chats. We just read them as we go. But Edward, sorry to hear that, brother. F's in the chat for Edward. But you got us, and we are absolutely retarded. So
yeah, that's gonna make him feel fucking worse. Don't worry, you got us. Holy shit.
you got us. No, what
Yeah.
I was going to say is we are so stupid. You can only feel better about yourself after watching us. Watch us for an hour, and you're going to be like, I'm not that bad. That's the way to look at it.
It's true. My life isn't too bad. Look at these fucks. Greg McMahon, member for 8 months. Thank you, G&G Daily. Gray was a great guest of G&G Daily. Thank you. We always love to have Gray from Nerdrotic. Peace and Utter Destruction for 5. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Leslie Square Headland. B-Chain for 5. It is review bombed by critics shilling to keep their Disney access. James Opp for 2. The critic score is going down too. It's ticking down. Yeah, it was at 93. Now it's at 91.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Jay showed me this yesterday. Like all critics is at 74. I think that was at 71. So I'm sorry.
I think top critics is at
top critics is 74. It was at 71 yesterday, I think. So top critics is at 74. All critics is at 91. Let me refresh and see just to make sure. Yeah, and then the audience score is at 26. So there you go.
Let's see here. The Penetrator for 2. Have a seat, Jeremy. Ha 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 ha. Darian Murphy for 5. All critic reviews are basically positive review bombing.
Hey, Darian Murphy tagged me, wanted me to answer for that Miss Alabama bullshit. All right. I mean, I haven't lived in Alabama in a long time.
Looks to me like an appropriate representation of the state, to be honest. So
Everything's falling apart. Nick Saban retired, and then we got a new Miss Alabama. It's terrible.
King's Advisors for 5. Acolyte is going to fall to all 3 other streaming shows coming out in June. I think so too. Like House of the Dragon's going to obliterate it. The Boys is probably going to obliterate it as well. What is it? The Bear or whatever the fuck on Hulu. Who knows what that'll do? But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being the lowest of all of them. Yeah. Thank you, Kings. The Exalted Patriarch for 5. Let's institute the 199 Review Bomber Squadron. Hail. See you on FNT.
Hail.
See you there. I imagine FNT is going to be pretty crazy today.
Yes.
Jedi Ben for 199. The HasLab is getting destroyed in Hasbro's chat.
I think there's something Star Wars related with the new HasLab thing, I think.
XR Coon for 5. Jay's right. The Padawan is the best part of the Acolyte. Yeah, there's some fat fucking Jedi Padawan. It makes no fucking sense.
The memes are so funny.
Yeah, it does not make any sense. PDZ for 2. Headland is Down Syndrome She-Hulk. Thank you. Redneck becomes a YouTube member. Anak Maman for 5. Ryan, you keep crapping on this show, but you still took the role of a Jedi who poisoned himself. Double dipping. If that is insulting that you guys think that motherfucker. His fucking hair is like down the back of his fucking head. His beard is like...
His beard looks worse
like
than mine.
Painted on or something.
My beard looked better than that dude's, okay?
Yeah. Especially after my fucking nice haircut. I got everything trimmed up and everything. You think I look like that? Fuck you guys. The only person, by the way, who said anything nice about my haircut, ironically, was Gary. Yeah, I was talking on the phone with Gary, and Gary had to say, "Hey, nice haircut, by the way."
Gay?
I'm like, God, that's so fucking gay.
Gay?
Not a single woman said anything nice to me, just Gary, whose wife is a hairdresser, so maybe he notices. Anyway, let's see. Anzac for 5. Miss Alabama ate Yoda. Bro, I think she ate Miss Alabama. Like, takes more than just Yoda to get up to that size. John Papaserio for 5. Hasbro just launched a new HasLab for Cantina playset. Only reason they might fund it is they were finally able to make the Tanika sisters. Oh, well, there you go. That kind of makes sense, I suppose. Bungles Twanger for 5. Don't know about anyone else, but my mother's cried when they heard her backstory. Yeah, your mothers, I'm sure, is they could relate to it. Mo Zamboni, remember for 6 months. Hail, can't wait to meet up with everyone in Dallas. So much has happened the last 4 months. It'll be lit. Just hit me, by the way. Leslie has bitter beer face. Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Blab's a tower chart for 2. Jeremy explaining the Trump N-word, or Jeremy explained the Trump N-word to Ryan.
Oh yeah, I mean he calls nuclear the N-word. He did it last night because nuclear war. So he calls it the N-word.
There you go.
It's so good.
That's better. If you don't know how to pronounce it like George Bush, I guess it's the best way to say it. Nuclear. Louise G
he
for
did it
5.
yesterday in the Dr. Phil interview. Holy shit. Did you hear him talk about Adam Schiff?
I didn't get to see it at all, no.
He's like, he's a very unattractive guy. He just
He's a very ugly man.
Just called him watermelon head, pencil neck. It's like he's just an unattractive guy. So God, it's so
fucking
good.
Roast people. Louis G for 5. They sent a Jedi Knight to catch someone who killed a Master Jedi. Explain that. Plus, the Force is so strong that it made oxygen in space. The fire thing, the fire thing is retarded. Not because it would be impossible to have a fire external like that if there was some sort of damage or something. You could certainly find a way for some sort of fuel source, some sort of explosion that like takes off a life support, connection, and you can justify having oxygen that's like fueling this fire. The problem is what it should look like is a fucking like kind of like a blowtorch, right? If it's going to be sustained like that. That's the kind of vibe the fire should give off. Not a campfire crackling with it looks like the wind's just kind of waving it a little bit. That was the problem for me. If you want to do that, you can do that. But it's just so fucking retarded, the idea that a fire would look like that in space.
Edward Coleman for another $99.99, and Edward's been watching for a long time. He knows what's up around here. Never apologize. You guys got me through a lot of hard times. I will always appreciate you and will always be a fan. Ryan, you want to say that last part?
I think he'd feel better if you said it.
I know he would. He's been
it
trying to do this.
He's
doing a lot. He's been doing this to me for a long time. Roll Tide.
You're gonna say "War damn eagle." You're not gonna say that. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
Hail Edward Coleman. He's been doing that to me for a long time on Super Chats.
Let's see. Did Ryan actually watch the Acolyte? Yeah, I watched that shit show. I may have a review coming out on a different channel soon. You never know. I might have watched with a couple people.
Ooh.
Spice Weasel for 10. Miss Alabama is a perfect match for the fat Padawan. He has Force gluttony, which allows him to be the first in line to any all-you-can-eat buffets that he wants. Yeah, maybe. It's funny that the fat Jedi immediately reminded me of a 1-800-Danky video.
Ooh, 1-800-Danky's got a new video. Did you see that one?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna watch it on FNT.
Yeah.
Killing Woke. Yeah. We're gonna watch it on FNT.
It was Krista, and Krista did Harley Quinn voiceover, and was it Angry Badger that did Joker?
I think so, yeah.
Really good, man. Really good. But yeah, we're gonna watch that.
So I want to watch this because me and me and Mauler were like going back and forth on a Stargrift we were doing. And I started talking about like an interesting idea of if you have more like body mass, could you get more midichlorian, like shit like that, some dumb thing. And 1-800-Danky made a video about it. Would a fat Jedi have more midichlorians? Shit. So it's an interesting theory to be like, if you got really fucking fat, you could potentially
Just picturing like
have more midichlorians.
this poor Jedi. This, you know, he's like teenager era. He finds out about midichlorians, misunderstands them, just like overeats like crazy. Then 10 years later, Yoda explains it to him. He's like, "Oh."
You see him, he like sneaks into the Jedi Council chamber and steals Yoda's fucking hover round thing.
And it's like collapsing under his weight.
Yeah, it's like he's just skimming off the floor.
He's just like scraping the interior of the Jedi Temple.
It's hilarious.
And then there's a deleted scene of Anakin tracking him down and killing him. He's like, fuck.
Slowly
Hilarious.
hovering away while Anakin's walking toward him.
I have to make that into an animation.
It's so fucking good. But that's all I could think about was our fucking conversation about fat Jedi and midichlorians. And they gave us a fat Jedi.
That's fantastic. Danky is crushing it, man.
Yeah, it was really impressive, the fucking Joker Harley Quinn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Beardo's undescended testicle for 5. Dave Filoni loves being an underdog. Correction. Dave Filoni loves being underdogs. Thank you for the correction. Matt B for 5. Hey, Ryan, I've been working on my avatar for hours. You like it? Looks gay and retarded. Matt, thank you. Ryan Miller for 5. House of Dragon Season 2 coming out next week. It's going to completely destroy their argument from the woke media and Disney. Well, I don't know. Like, again, that was a show I came in prepared to despise. I thought I was going to be shitting all over it, and I really liked it. So I hope Season 2 keeps that same energy. We'll see. Fully problematic for $10. So Biden dropped a Deuce in Normandy and Lesby Headland dropped a steamer on Disney Plus right around the same time. Coincidence? Everything woke turns to shit. Trump 2024, 199, Felon 47.
Hell yeah.
Ian for 199. Got the A+ team on my birthday. 34 and still trucking. Oh,
Happy birthday,
nice.
brother.
Happy birthday. Spikefish Network for 2. Ray movie canceled or development hell forever.
I still don't think it's going to happen, but
I think it's going to happen. Everyone said the same fucking thing about the Acolyte. Here it is. I don't think it's going to deter them. I think they're going to keep moving forward. Prometheus Creations Thrive, 4.8 million views by bots. I don't think that everyone needs to use every time something comes out and they say something, you have to think that it's bots or fake or whatever. You can simply look at it as they are being deceptive with how they're talking about it. The fact that they have never ever in history released first day numbers for something and they put it out for this in an effort to do damage control is telling enough. We don't have to assume that every single thing is just fake and bullshit unless you like the number that they come out with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, they've always done this very deceptive stuff with how they release their numbers. The Sundowners Club for 10. They use pronouns for a creature. This is where we are with Lucasfilm. Pronouns for a fucking creature. I don't know if I've seen the pronoun thing yet, or when that's going to be.
Yeah, it felt like it was going to be episode 4, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
based on the way Chris said it, he didn't specifically say that, but that was my interpretation. Is like episode 4, we're going to get that.
Can't wait. Quattrina VR for 5 for 2 as a bi woman. This piece of shit show is made for me. Yes, there you go. James Opp for 5. They're hoping to undo the stock hit it took when it released. It's not helping.
Didn't she say it wasn't made for me? Did you read that?
She says,
right?
as a bi woman, this show was made for me.
I think she meant wasn't though.
I thought she was just fucking around.
Oh, either way, we know what you meant. VR.
I don't think that the stock hit was due to necessarily to the Acolyte releasing. I think it's just bouncing around a little bit. Dave Chandler for $20. In a recent video, Brett Cooper said she worked with Headland on the remake of Heathers and that Headland was based once upon a time. Cooper said Heathers was made by Headland as a critique of bully tactics of the woke. I'll have to look at that.
That's
Because
interesting.
it doesn't make any sense based on everything we know about her.
That is very interesting, actually.
Space Rebel, member for a month. They're running physics now. They're ruining physics now. Spacefire? What the actual fuck? Sir Hat for 2. Cray is right. Jedi stay mad. Cray is fucking wrong. Everybody just loves to imagine the idea of the Force as just this weapon. You can use any side of it. You use light side, dark side, as long as like the outcome is like wholesome or whatever. It's just not the fucking case. But Kreia was fucking wrong. She makes some interesting points. She's a compelling character, but she was fucking wrong. That's why she died. Where was I? Anti-pattern for 10. But the Jedi still fucked up, right? Jedi still fucked up. Anti-pattern for 10. That's $37.50 per viewer. Disney Plus Premium only pulls in $13.99 per month. That's 3 times premium or 3 months of memberships. Acolyte is only 2 months long.
The numbers never lie.
Well, that would also assume that only 4.8 million people ever watched it. Which, obviously, there would be more after that. So,
yep.
Prometheus Creations for 5. Stock did drop when the first 2 episodes dropped. The damage control is trying to improve the stock, and it's sort of working for now. I do not think... Whatever. Yeah, stock dropped when Acolyte came out. Viking Beard for Norwegian 199. Filoni already used they, them pronouns in Tales of the Empire animated miniseries. That show's also a big pile of garbage. I think Dave Filoni's a massive woke piece of shit. Weak for 5. In Acolyte, they keep referring to the dream that is shared by the Jedi and how they're going to kill it. They're referring to the American dream. Anti-Woke Academy for Arts and Science for 5. Book of Boba Fett was an absolute abomination in every conceivable way. Acolyte is the most watched piece of shit out all our piece of shit shows this year. Samuel Moore for 199. Wikipedia is now Wokepedia. Wikipedia has been gone for a long fucking time.
Long time.
The fact that they have Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi listed as LGBTQ people, like LGBTQ Star Wars characters, is disgusting. It really is. Hairless Primate for 5. We all know where this queer crap is going. All these franchises need to jump the shark. That's what it'll take to wake the normies. Let's say Mean Mark for 5. Renegade said 4.8 million is global. Well, it is global, just like the Ahsoka numbers are global. The 14 million number is a global number. Yes. Tobias Nexus for 10. Watch parties for it are good. They only get 1 view instead of 10s. Come watch your favorite smaller YouTubers instead. I may suffer, but I'd like to think it's more entertaining than the Acolyte. There you go. Thank you, Tobias. Prometheus for 5. It's at 16% on critic list. Nice.
Let's go.
Tobias for 2. Yes, I'm shilling myself on Daily and GCA.
Gotta do what you gotta do. We're okay with that.
Al Favor, laid in. Don't know if y'all saw, but the lead chick was on Trevor Noah and said making white people cry was the goal. Keep that energy when there's no season 2. They never learn. Yeah, I think it's important to note that clip is from 2018 of her promoting a different movie, and it's not her promoting Star Wars, but it is an indication of the type of people that they fucking hire. Just like Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's comments about, I like making men feel uncomfortable, like blah, blah, blah. That's not about Star Wars, right? That's about a different thing that she did. But it's a testament to who they fucking are. But a lot of people were running with the idea that she was on there promoting Star Wars, which would be weird considering Trevor Noah's not even the fucking host anymore. But a lot of people just run with whatever they see. Dragon Lord, member for 15 months. Thank you. Great Dane, Swedish 65. Almost gone through all of TNMEs by now and love it. The lore's gold. It makes it tolerable considering how gay it is. Hail the 199 from Denmark.
Hail.
That's a good on you. Good on you. A Knockmamon, abuser of Streamlabs for 2. In spite of the reputation, Jeremy sucks at grifting. Exalted Patriarch, update to shit clown wars, trans clown, and gay clown wars. John Papaserio for 5. This Acolyte feels like CW version of Scream with lightsabers. Even the cameo dies at the beginning unless she's the mysterious Sith. If I were to guess of who the Sith is, it's the dude in the shop. If I had to guess of anybody that's involved right now, if we've seen him, it's the fucking dude in the shop that was helping her.
You think so?
If I had a guess of anybody, that's who it would be.
Is this the Ezra Miller looking guy?
Yeah. Okay. If you told me like I had to guess of who it is based on the characters we've seen now, that would be my guess.
Okay.
But it could be we have no idea who it is, and it might be some big massive reveal. But who knows? Who knows? Aaron Glendenning for 5. How can you not love the detachable uterus-shaped Jedi ship? Greg E for 2. I knew that Trinity would be off ASAP. She was. 5 minutes. M Spencer for 2. Sell IP to Disney or send your kids to King's Landing. That's a rough choice right there.
That is a rough choice.
Prometheus for 10. New video up on my 2 cents in the situation with Star Wars in the entertainment industry. Also helping endorse fellow indie creators and great indie critics like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker. Nice. Go check it out. Shark dentures for 2. We've all been dumped at least once, Ryan. It's okay. It's true. But me and Bree are still good. This is for Ryan. For when Biden reactivates press gang him to go fight in the Ukraine on a land boat. Hail democracy. It ain't gonna fucking happen to me. I didn't do the reserves or any of that shit after, so I'm good. My fucking time that they could call me back to that shit is up. James Opp for 2. At least Miss Alabama 2024 is a miss. Yeah, something like Miss Maryland or something's a fucking dude. Matthew for 10. Look at these 2 pasties. Don't forget the SPF 50 when checking the mail. Thank you. I'm proud to be white. I don't know about Jeremy, but Arnold Squash and N-word for $2.99. Fuck bag Filoni baloney times lesbian head testicle homie. Thank you. I agree with Trump. Felon 0047. Darth Race for 10. Even though it's the day after, never forget June 6th, D-Day, to all those veterans that allow us freedom to speak our minds. Yeah, I recently rewatched Band of Brothers.
I have to watch that. Everybody's telling me to watch it.
It's solid. It's good.
A lot of people are saying it's the best series ever. Like, it's 1 season. A lot of people are saying it's like peak television.
I don't know if I feel like that way about it. I really enjoy it. You bounce around to a lot of different characters in the entire thing. Now, as somebody that has experience in the military, not in combat or anything like that, but a lot of the attitudes that enlisted had towards officers, a lot of the frustrations with poor officers as leaders, with them getting you in fucked up situations and you can't do anything about it because they outrank, like shit like that. Obviously I was able to relate to that as somebody that served, but it's a really fucking good series. So you should definitely give it a shot. Schmo Buddy for $5 breaking vocabulary. Fizzer equals force plus scissor. Also, period equals force plus period. Yes. $20. Leftists are evil. Comedy show full, with a cast of fat, lazy Jedi using their force powers for selfish reasons would be hilarious. Be better than this. Taker for $5. Just wait. May's boyfriend died while being arrested by Master Torben after he OD'd on death sticks after trying to use fake credits in a cantina. Maybe. Ministry of Wrong thing for $1.99. Imagine how bad the loser of Alabama looks like. Gen X memories for $2. Haha. You do kind of look like that weirdo. Thank you. The Sith Seed, Kenobi should have adapted the Ashrad Het story. Should have just adapted the fucking book Kenobi, in my opinion. Orozco for $1. Did you see the side-by-side of Ryan and that Jedi from the Acolyte? Gary showed it on his show yesterday. Haven't seen it. But I think... Sir Hat, B of Bro can't be best ever or Band of Brothers can't be best ever because Farscape exists. Hang on, we're all caught up, Jeremy.
We are all caught up. Well, today is Friday Night Tights, and that's going to be a hell of a show. I expect to have a huge audience over there, so it's going to be fantastic. And then I'll have Cobra Cast later tonight on my D-Day Cobra channel, and we'll talk about, obviously, all things Trump politics, the fallout from the Dr. Phil interview, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be fun, though. F&T is going to be a huge show, though. And I think we're going to talk about this show called The Acolyte. I think we're going to talk about it. And I need to watch or finish episode 2. Unfortunately, I have to finish that. But other than that, this has been awesome. And there's Hayden Wayne in Dallas, getting ready for the Dallas Fan Expo Day 1. Can't wait to see you guys around town. Well, it won't be me or Ryan. I can't make it. I was going to be there. I was scheduled, but I can't make it. I had some family stuff. But I have replacements going. I'm flying out some replacements to be there.
You know how those times when you guys turn on a Geeks and Gamers Daily and it's not me and Jeremy? That's the same type of thing we're about to have in Dallas, right?
What do you mean?
Replacements.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I was like, where are you going with that? Yes, it's pretty much what's going to happen. You're going to show up in Dallas, and it's going to be like, damn, Brian and Jeremy aren't here. I guess we'll deal with the BT.
That's not necessarily what I was trying to say, but yes. If you watch the show consistently, you might know what we mean. But yeah, I was never scheduled to be there or anything. I just couldn't really make it work.
Gotta go back to Jeremy. Is it going? Then I'll go.
But Jeremy specifically pulled out. Okay, he committed, then he pulled out.
I did, and it was always going to be a tough one, but I was like, I can make it. And then a few things are piling up that are completely not YouTube related, but I just can't. And I am sorry. I do apologize, but we'll have merch there, and we'll have many people. A few members of the team will be there. So I'm gonna miss you guys for sure. So, but I hope everybody has a great time. The meetup's going to be huge. Gary's going to be there. I think Melanie Mac's going to be there. Obviously, Rippaverse is going to be there.
Stuttering
G&G's going to be there. Stuttering Craig.
Era, X-Ray Girl is going to be there.
So it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. So you guys, we will be live streaming as well. The crew will be there live streaming here on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. So that's going to be awesome. But Friday Night Tights is happening, and we'll see you guys over there. Ryan, any closing positive thoughts?
Acolyte fucking sucks. Leslie Headland sucks. Dave Filoni is a fucking bitch and always has been.
We'll leave it at that.
Happy
You guys
weekend.
have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.